Gambian Talents TV. Promotion, population, promoting our culture, promoting our tradition.
Yoddu sa xët te quality jas na ñoo yor seen cumbukaay tur day uyu borom jas na pire soo ko bëggee fii si biir Gambia bi dawal foofu sa quality jas na your number one stop shop ana sama jigéen ñi dama bëgg ngeen jox ma seen nopp garmi yi ndaxte quality jas na amal nañ leen ay til yu toj daala poos abaaya yu yiiw waaye it amal nañ leen ay boreda yu rafet boreda yoo xam ne pour góor ñi la ak pour jigéen ñi amal nañ leen body scrub yi nga xam ne nii dafay defar seen yaram bam nice white fàttewuñ fa diw yi ana sama jeeg yu pare yi quality jas na amal nañ leen fa andi cuuraay yu neex house spray ak bépp xeetu baax pour seen biir néeg dama ne atum ren jii ku sa jëkkër mere ku ne yow la neex ndaxte quality jas na ñëw na si dëkk bi pour defar sëy yi make-up artist yi bàyyi leen gannaaw ñu ngi leen fa amal ay makeup product yu quality waxu leen léegi nii foofu sa Westfield jàkkaarloog monument bi wala nga jokkoo quality jas na si 250 01 24 ak quality jas na taaral sa bopp taaral sa néeg waaye dëggal sa alaaji aas.
Good evening, and of course a warm welcome to Banjul International Airport here live. And of course this is Gambian Talents TV. As you could you remember, some couple of weeks ago, or last week to be precise, Honorable Sedia Jatta of Doi has won the African Hero, Men African Hero of the Year in the United States of America in the Ohio University. Mostly these awards comes with Sedia Jatta's dedication towards the education, and of course his Africanism in giving back to Africa, and of course doing his utmost best to of course contribute in the development of the continent at large. For the most part in the Gambia we all knew Sedia Jatta has been one of those most consistent politicians, and he's somebody that has been supporting the Africans at the international fronts, and of course Gambia would definitely celebrate his achievement, and more especially his party members, that is Doi, whom are already in the building here at the Banjul International Airport, of course, to welcome him, because what he won don't just come overnight. It worked for somebody to really work hard, putting a whole lot of work for you to achieve so to get such prestigious awards. So we are saying congratulations to him, and of course it wouldn't be fair if we don't come here of course to receive him and of course celebrate him.
The fact is Honorable Sedia Jatta is coming from the US after being awarded with a very grand medal, the Heroes African Award. Yeah, that's why today we are gathered here.
Exactly, the Heroes African Award. These are awards that just don't come overnight, and then for you to win this kind of, you must contribute to your country and then Africa at large. How do you feel as a bona fide member of DOI?
I'm very happy indeed, because if you look into the line of Honorable Sedia Jatta, he's been very active, in politics. Understand? And a member for the National Assembly, a member for that matter, for many decades, and he has been encouraging people to be able to speak many languages as much as you can, because he said language is fundamental, understand, and which definitely give him the award of which we are in today. Yeah.
It's very important. Sedia making those kind of statements, don't you think it's a reflection for our National Assembly members to be able to speak with the language that their people can definitely relate to, so that they can easily connect with them? Yes,
I think this is a very important thing, because our country here, when you can say the 95% cannot speak English for that matter, understand? So it is going to be very important and very good enough, right, if country members are unable to speak. If our national members are able to speak 2 or 3 or 4 languages, at the national assembly, understand, whereby it can enable the country the country at large to enable to know what their National Assembly members, are discussing at the Parliament House, But at the end of the day, if the National Assembly members are discussing only English at the National Assembly House, when, the country at large, most of them cannot speak English, but only Wolof, Mandinka, and Fula, for that matter, or at times even Manjako at large at the end of the day. So it's going to be very important if it has been recognized at the National Assembly, whereby at least 4 or 5 languages locally can speak at the House.
Thank you very much. That's very important. It's high time, we be ourselves. We stop, copying, the Europeans. Probably they speak a better English, that's why they're using it. But our people also speaks way more, a good language and a local language than them. So please, I'm calling on all the National Assembly members, of course, keep speaking the local language to be able to connect to their people. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Mandinka English wala?
Mandinka is okay.
Abenyadi.
Mijandro.
Munela na kandati yam.
Yeah, na kebala welcome.
Okay.
No, Sedia Jatta. So I trophy me win wala na kana welcome.
I award me win America. Amanke award chakanti. Ibuka sino dron ya win. Ite as a funding game, how do you feel?
Yeah, I am very, very happy and congratulate him. I don't know how to say that, but
Se wole warta bang fo breka.
yeah, say all time it. Yeah.
Wala mo Halifa nyemi win tanting. Jamal Sedia mi win tanting. Mbalal Sedia mi win tanda kuma yata bakele ni ajibe. Isi mune ite mune karanyum kono dal.
Ku Jamal karanje na banko la ko kan because since mbedo yare Sedia long me alon ka fuko akadi am banko ka me alon ka essence di banko la le ay banko pour banko la ñaar tawo. So and secondly for travel ta katama juna kata, but since travel ta for nada ko the same thing ngamenje, he is the one who is the best person for me, who I can join with to continues my life again.
Exactly. Jamal Yafako Sedia is one of the most consistent politicians in the history of Gambian politics. Abuka flip-flop. He has been straightforward with his counterpart, his friend Sedia.
That is true, because if you see that Gambia now is so sit, because when you look at the NPP or UDP, what they are doing, they are not following about the work into the country or to helping us, our Gambian people or the Gambia. They are just following their interests. And if you see that I'm not supporting them for the reason they are not performing to the country, because they are performing for themselves. That's why Sedia is best for me.
It's best for you. What is your final remarks?
My final animals, I want to be like a Sedia Jatta. Maybe next Sedia Jatta.
Okay, you want to be like Sedia Jatta?
Yeah, maybe.
Thank you very much. May God help you. Assalamu alaikum, gentlemen. Abenyadi.
Mbejare alhamdulillah.
Ani munela na kandati jambi.
Ndoto mo Mustafa Aldi ba jama lulu fadigal. Bana na rajanne kadu ngajale ko min kula mengala jareda ni manke PDAC kuuti bari ni mu banku kuwaldi. Kadu melia anyarenda fanto kala ke kende ani tandi wol manke gambe noldi. Yo na rawana gambe jangaje gambe dim belenyanta fundila kana ila fasaro ni tandala ka intande gavo ko ma botajan dame ndel fanal ni ko mo hanatari fente bulun semendina bari kana fasaro ni tandala wala nan naraja
o kuma yata bakele fente bumbulun semendi bari nata nan jang afana saje ko tonya gambenol yen celebrate de bari ngaje ko molma wosiya kenan bake folo bari ngalo kam min fana nyolam nyindi ko gambenol bu kala mol celebrate fani ibanta but si dekata moti mi yalan ka he want to be celebrated every day. How do you see the turnout of the people and what we may expect no bin si de nyang awodo ñu win from Gambians?
Tonya kabari nara janga jibero ke ketanyen balfaldi ko en ketanyen molubaldi kadum ndengaje ko min gambeno mobile fun lenari atekela NPPD atekela UDPD atekela PDAC wari ñu bekela banko ko waldi bari kabri nara janga moje tonya kada dame ni ko mo bala fawar kadum ngaji gi mo be siala intile bari mo men nata adando arabak na mo bal aman jere ka fo ni faadale ko lan menel ko kidi mandil bani o baluri ngai tan dila ani fente bulu nya bari yan tan dila ka fo en ko imo moldi mangala kuma adale o mu kula mangala nyanda kelale ngaje ko min gambeno la be jere la baake gambeno li nganna miranyal falin na mobile la karola aduna jernyal fanal jannin katu wandi tal kidi mandila mfangal tal be mbul jang mo comme si debe janne ni ko mo melia kidi mandi wol mo americano le abota fo jankadaji ko kidi mandi ngama folo mfangal ya jam folo moli alum mfangal fe folo o ko la banko ko del fantal o ko kuma yala bag
abaraka baake assalamu alaikum.
Yeah.
What's your name and how are you?
Yeah, my name is Karim Dabo.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, what is your designation in DOI, or you just come here to support Sedia?
yeah, I'm here to support Sedia. I'm here to support my country.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like Sedia is somebody who should be celebrated. We have seen what is happening currently around the world. The world is celebrating him, even though the Gambia is not celebrating him as he's supposed to be. Syria he has used his entire life just to change and transform the minds and the mindset of the Gambians. He has used his entire life in order to save this country, but not only this country, Africa as a nation, or Africa as a continent, or the whole as a world. So the likes of Syria, he is so unique. So he has won himself an award that is worth celebrating. So he is called in America in order for him to go and receive the world's celebrated one of the most award being received by Africans. Because to my knowledge, it is only Nelson Mandela who has once received this type of award in the whole entire Africa. So if Sydia has to be called in America to receive that award, definitely that award is definitely worth celebrating with him. So I think this is an award that the whole Gambia should come and celebrate with us, not only do it as a party. Yeah.
Great. I mean, upon arriving here, you've seen the turnout of the people. Were you expecting such a low turnout?
Yeah, definitely the turnout is low, but probably also due to reasons. Because we understand that we are in a Ramadan, and many people, especially our supporters, are highly busy on this Ramadan feast and others. But despite all, we expect turnout. It should be more than this, because this should be a kind of national thing. It shouldn't be like it's more of a national event. Yeah, they don't have to leave it only in the hand of DOI as a political party. Sydia went there to represent Africa. He went there to represent Gambia. So he didn't went there to represent DOI as a party. So I think if he should come back to this country with this kind of magnificent award, the whole Gambia should be here to give him a support, a welcoming, for him to know that, what he deserves. Definitely Gambians are behind him and they are with him. So we expect turnout to be more than this, but this is the way it is. Yeah.
It is what it is. I mean,
what it is.
one simple question. I mean, because we've seen recently the political changes. I mean, in Senegal. I mean, recently, how could you describe? I mean, the Gambian politics? Because recently, Senegal, they have decided on all that. You, as a youth man and as a politician for that matter, how do you see the politics of the Gambia?
Yeah, we are learning from each other. Gambia and Senegal has been in partnership when it comes to political engagements. We learned some things from them, and they also learned some things from us, because I think it was us who first concluded our election before them. So when they also concluded their election from this last 2 months or last 2 weeks ago, we learned a lot from them, and I think what I learned from it is youth are trying to get up on ownership, take up ownership of their country. So maybe with that, the type of signal that it is sending is we have to be patriotic. We have to take ownership of our own destiny. Nobody can rule our future for us but ourselves. So for that matter, I think politics is just a matter of give and take. So you learn from your weak side. You learn from what your opponent is doing to make sure that he get the best momentums. So I think from there we are also going to make sure that some of the weaknesses that we had during our last pass of political activities, maybe from what has happened in Senegal, probably is going to be a better lesson for us here in the next election coming cycles.
Inshallah, Rabbi. Do you see DOI going to State House anytime sooner?
Yes, we will. DOI is always in the State House because, frankly speaking, with this sitting government that is there right now, the manifesto that they wrote for them to sell it to the Gambians is all been written by DOI and is fully sponsored by DOI, fully campaigned by DOI. You understand? And we are part of the coalition fully. We never move away. Khalifa and the rest and the core, or DOI as a party, we campaign for this current government that is currently taking the affairs of the country. We campaign everything. The manifesto, everything is DOI. So, and DOI is still in the making. And come sooner or later, DOI will one day be in charge of the affair of this country.
You've helped in the formulation of those policies. But Khalifa has been given a position which he declined. Why that?
I may disagree with that. People say he deferred to take a position. Probably only he himself can explain better. But before we get to that point, something has happened. You understand? It's a long story, though, but there is an agreement that took place first. As according to when they come to power, the way the government should, the pattern in which the government should take. So all of a sudden, when power came, we have seen different. So all of a sudden, we have seen different changes. So DOI is a party that works with principles. You understand? When we were campaigning, we made a promise to the Gambians that when we take the mantle of this country, this is the way we're going to rule. So all of a sudden, when changes happen, we have seen certain people trying to, seek for certain powers, only best known to them. So for that reasons, DOI decided to go to the National Assembly, in order to have a new shape, to give the country a new dimensions. So, but what people are saying, they give Khalifa the position and he deferred, it may be. But I think that question may be well defined or well best answered by Khalifa himself. Yes.
Thank you very much. Nice to having you. Yes, like I told you earlier on, we're here at the Banjul International Airport, and of course, this gentleman here, he's a household name in the Gambia. Keksane, he need no introduction and all that. Keks, we've seen you, come at the Banjul International Airport. Of course, I welcome Honorable Sedia Jatta, because we could remember last week, he won a very important award in America from the University of Ohio. What do you feel as a bona fide DOI supporter and of course as a Gambian?
Yeah, actually, I'm very, very proud to grace this occasion, knowing that a citizen of the Gambia, and more especially somebody that I believe in the same political ideology, been awarded as the best of Africa 100K by recognized by Africans, giving him an Heroes Award for his contribution towards education and also the development of Africa, means a lot to me as a comrade, as somebody part of our political party, but more especially a Gambian who is from the Gambia, and people who have gone through that award. You look at the Nelson Mandela's and all those people are household name when it comes to the African politics or the liberation of Africa. So if Sedia to be associated with such people means a lot to me as a Gambian.
That's very important. Like you said, those awards don't just come overnight. You need to work hard to get those awards both in your country and of course in the continent. We've seen Sedia's consistency for over more than 2 decades. He has been stick to his ideology. What have you learned from Sedia's ideology as a politician and a young man growing in the Ghana?
Yeah, thank you very much. It is very, very important, and so far this is what we are lacking. People doesn't believe in the ideology of what actually they print, but you will see that people will say, I support one political party, and within 2-3 months or 1 year, 3 in the line, you see them cross carpet. So it shows that they didn't align themselves with that political party based on the ideology that they are presenting. But these people have an idea of the type of government they want, and they believe in the principle and the ideal of PUDOS. Since 1986, when I was not even actually born, they started to create this political party, and they believe that it is the only program and the policy that can liberate this country, and they stick to this ideology. And up to today, you could see that the consistency in them in terms of what they preach, in terms of the educational system, has to change for us to have the type of government that we want. Our educational system has to be in line with our needs and aspirations as a country. And they look at the agricultural sector, how it is going. So they have a concrete idea. They have diagnosed the problem of the country, and they are ready to provide the medicine that it needs. So this is why they are very consistent with it, and I'm sure this is what we also learn from them, and we want to follow their footsteps. We might not be, because we will not have the like of Sedia and the Khalifas, like perfect like them in politics, but we want to get close to them at least be consistent in terms of how they are consistent, to believe in the ideology of PDOIS, and to also to cement the programs and the policies of PDOIS.
Are you insinuating that Khalifa and Sedia are the most consistent politicians in the Gambia?
Yeah, actually, I see people tend to, copy and other things, but, the type of consistency and the commitment that they have, in terms of politics, I have not seen so far. From their generation going upwards, there are people that they have been sacrificed, offered minister's position, and if we have seen others that they have started politics with, they went up to they betrayed the project. They went and took off minister position just to, help themselves.
What are those people?
We have seen it from the PPP regime. You look at Wajware before, they all insisted that they were not going to work with Jammeh because this man has taken over the country by force. But at the end of the day, we see them working with Jammeh. We have seen other politicians, that have been agenting Jammeh, and they end up working with Jammeh. So we see that is consistent. But they was offered those ministerial positions. They were given everything. They could have build the party and prepare for next election, but they refused because they believe that it is an ideology that we are praising. So we cannot be agenting the same ideology and at the same time work with the same ideology. That means that we are not inconsistent. So that consistent is what is lacking in the Gambian politics. And I can say that they have been consistent, they have been true to their course, and they have been very principled. You could look at the track record, you will not find them where they have found wanting for corruption or being fired for violating even laws of this country. So you could see that the consistency and the straightforwardness in them will be very difficult to have it 100%. But there are people that each and every young politician should look up towards PDY's leadership.
Exactly. Sedia has been somebody who has been talking about language, and it's very important. Recently, or not even recently, since day one, our parliamentarian has been speaking English in the National Assembly. And when we know Gambia, we have a lot of people that can't in fact speak English. Don't you think it's high time for them to be able to speak English, that they can be able to relate to their people in the parliament? Because he has been advocating for that.
Absolutely. I have no doubt about that. And we are also part of the people who believe in the ideology of Sedia Jatta and Mohamed Magasi. They have been champions of this for us to introduce the national language in our parliaments, and also even let it not be an yardstick whereby we measure somebody's intelligence because of the language, the English language the person speak, or how many certificates have the person put up. But you take somebody from Woolly who have never sit in the four corners of the classroom, the way he thinks and the way he understands the structures of the government is totally different from somebody who is who have bachelor's degrees and master's degrees. So for me, we also believe that intelligence should not be measured based on a grade 12 certificate or the four corners of the classroom. And I think it is time for us to move on. If you go to Somalia, they have now evaluated, they have now evolved, using their national language, what we call the Swahili language. You go to even Tanzania, they have their national language that they use. So you could see that the moment you can speak that and understand, you can be working. But now, vast majority of the Gambian people, how many of us go to the opportunity to go to the school? So that means that the majority of the Gambians are being restricted not to participate in the decision making of their country because they cannot speak a foreign language. So for me, that should not be an yardstick. You go to our neighboring country in Senegal, people speak in Wolof in their parliament. So you will see that you represent the people of Woolly, but they don't know what you are saying on their behalf. And these are the people who send you to the parliament to speak on their behalf, to be their eye. But when you talk, those people don't hear. Then who are you representing? So I think we need to move away from this colonial language and embrace our own national language and take it as our culture in terms of, for us to bring the development of.
That's very important. One last question. How would you describe the political atmosphere of the Gambia?
Yeah, still now, we don't understand why we even create political party. For me, I think we still need to learn from other parts of the world. Still now, I think we don't have a direction why we actually create political party. People have to understand that political parties are instrument of leadership. You use political parties to reach at the highest ratchet as the presidency. But the moment you are elected as a president or elected as a National Assembly member or a councillor, you become the councillor of the Gambia, you become the councillor of KMC, or you become the president of the Republic of the Gambia, not the president of NPP, not the president of UDP. So people have to come together to know that politics is a season. But once we elect a leader, that's the decision of the vast majority of the Gambian people. We have to help him how much he succeed. But here, the politics is how much the person will feel. We feel like when you are in an opposition, your main task should be how the ruling government will feel. And I think that's not should be our agenda, because if it fails, the entire nation fails. So I think the political maturity, and this has to go with the educational system. We need to have a curriculum that will educate the young people from nursing school to have that sense of nationalism, the love for country, love for self. It has to be in our educational system, whereby you will have that sense of patriotism. The moment we have that, we will never pray for another citizen to fail, but we will work hand in glove to understand that we are building block, and together when we work, we build a nation that all of us can be proud of. And until we have that mindset in our politics, we will always be dividing, insulting each other on social media, caricaturing each other in social media, but we will not have a development whereby we can sit on one platform and discuss about the agendas of the country, debate on our policies and our program. We think that we have the better policy, we have the best policy, we debate, we agree and disagree. And until we move from that direction, we will not have.
That's very important. I mean, but again, it's a trending issue in the country, the issue of FGM. I mean, we could remember some couple of weeks back, Almame Jiba, National Assemblyman, who tabled the bill for the bill to be repealed on FGM. What is your take on that?
Yeah, actually, for me, I believe that laws has to be based on the vast majority of the Gambian people. You cannot just enact a law when it goes against the will of 75% of the population. And if you look at this whole history of how this bill came into parliament, you will understand that this is what we have fought for. This was a dictatorship that the president just stood on a rally and declared that he will going to introduce what we call female circumcision, the Women's Act bill. He will going to amend the Women's Act and put on ban on the female circumcision. And when this idea came up, and they went to the parliament and they decided to force on the people to vote for it. But we sit down, now we move away from the dictatorship. We say that, okay, we have looked at this is a deep-rooted culture. And some even went up to an extent that they believe that this is a regional belief or religional practice. So since it has to deal with two sensitive issues, that's your religion and your tribe, your culture, it is something that needs dialogue. And the dialogue, when we look at what has been trending on the social, we see that the vast majority of the Gambian people want this cultural practice to be maintained. So what do we need to do as a government? Yes, it is the responsibility of the government to promote, to protect and promote the welfare of its citizens. But if the vast majority of the people say they want this, why can't you come with a program? If you say that, okay, the way they were doing it is not correct, why can't you give them trained nurses and doctors that will train them how to do it, and so that they will do it properly, the harmfulness that there will be defeated. That should be the main purpose. But if you want to impose that, yes, the people should know. But how many people have done it and they have not felt any complication? So what are you telling us? Those who have complication, only 1% of the population has the complication. You said the 75% or the 99% of the population should not practice because of the 1%. That's not democratic. Democratic means the majority, the voice of the majority of the people. So this is why we are all against it, and we want the National Assembly to listen to the people of the Gambia and make sure that let them not criminalize this act, but let them leave it as a choice. Whoever want to practice, you can practice it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me, Kex. Andron, ka foi se todi ma fono mole anu munela nakandati jam.
Alaikum salam. Mbejola mbafala bismillahir rahmanir rahim alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin ifama seka chamlet mbota kombo birkamal
ngaje bi inara Banjul International Airport munela nakandati jam.
Na jannati wala nata na hirole bendung honorable Sedia Jatta katu yemin diala jang dunia be kono ntolom banku sabanjango te mi yasoto biri yadi South Africa Nelson Mandela yadi Nigeria musudola inata di Gambia nola Sedia Jatta abota min tole Gambia abe min tole doy kata do ku nyimma min ke doy wala ala hero ya fintindi dunia kon
o kumayata bake bi ne dula jibe kajele ko doy ngolbe janne yudi pinkol be jang Gambian dol fanan be jang e ma jibe ko parti ya jibe ko Gambia long ite mi alan ka fako it's been supporting Sedia biri natanja. How do you see the turnout of the people?
Foseo katungaji ko Gambia dingo bele bijang parti dingo bele bijang me souteno bar ngane nyini be manke doy kolti bi o foseo drom binte ben seo bunne
ne karanyinto
kende ya ngawla karanyinto moy kende ya ye famaji ye do ko ke la banko yake Afrika katun tol doy kol tol mu pan africanis sollet andun ku kendo don honorable Jatta e wala ke jam moy kuma fo honorable Jatta fo niya fo e fango de ya tinya ya fabriquer bar kuma tan in dunia kono mo se min fono nyim honorable Floy mbe honorable Sala fanan konton na bake mba konton na mba jayila ha
abaraka bake. The place has been filled by almost every Gambian, irrespective of political affiliations. As you can see, we've seen the honorable member for Nyomi, of course, Nyomi, and then Wuli Israda, and of course other politicians who actually came out here just to welcome honorable Sedia Jatta. I mean, You could remember last week, the Honorable won a very, very prestigious award in the University of Ohio in the United States of America. That recognized his hard work, dedication, and commitment towards national development, Pan-Africanism, and of course education. And everybody that knows Sedia Jatta could tell you that Honorable has been a very, very instrumental person when it comes to Pan-Africanism that almost every African is yearning. So coming for the Rombani Banjul International Airport Sedia Jatta bendun because nala kilo bakan to lokun killing komata awodo nyontaya awodo do win motanang kabonang America and the American African America University minkata Ohio di wolle nyindial na ka nyindi molla mi yalla ka e farmansa yare katoke la banko e katoke la tundo e and of course e katoke ifangolje ni nara ke kutem yalla ka ko bi Gambia bele fin den raka awodo ya mi yalla ka ko lang African hero of the year and ni tari ko kono jibe ko mol mi le win Africa kono jang atibe kala aida mo fula nyaw wala mo saba nyaw so mu kuldem yalla ka ko mu Gambia be nyanta suwana la Gambia be nyanta sewola ko la so ka fala do hani ka biya be Gambian Talents TV de jibe kan please.
My name is Fode Sisao.
Fode Sisao. What is your designation in Doi? Or are you a Gambian, ordinary Gambian, just come to welcome the Honorable Sedia Jatta?
Well, I'm a Gambian, and we take this event as a Gambian event. But then equally, I am a member of the PDOIS party. I'm an activist representing the party at the Brikama North constituency. And I also represent the party at the regional level for the inter-party committee member at the regional level. So actually, we agreed to welcome Honorable Jatta. It was first when he was called to Ohio by the African Students Union, the Heroes Award that they normally give to people who work tirelessly for the unity and success of every human being, because Honorable Jatta has been working hard to make the world at large, Africa and the world at large, so that everybody lives in dignity, prosperity, liberty. So on that note, we understand the moment we heard that he went to Ohio to receive this, enormous award, Heroes Award. So I thought about it. So I just said, anyway, I went to the DOI forums to call for members to see how we can put this through. To say, is it not, correct for us to see the need to organize ourselves and welcome Honorable Jatta at the airport?
That's very important. Like I said, for you to get such kind of prestigious award, you need to work hard for it. What do you make of this achievement? Because we know it's not a cheap achievement.
Really, we are so happy about it because Honorable Sedia Jatta has already succeeded in enlightening the Gambian people, not the DOI members alone, but the Gambian people at large. Even most political leaders, heads, has been educated by the way Honorable Jatta put himself and the way he pushes to enlighten the people, because he's a humble guy. He is not proud of himself. He is educated, we know. And he is definitely part of the African heroes that fight for the unity of Africa. You could remember, since the time of Nkrumah, Sedia Jatta was part of the first students in the first schools Nkrumah built in Ghana. So he has the first, he's part of the first students in those universities. So we can say Honorable Jatta, met the time of Nkrumah, and he has got higher education in politics and the way Nkrumah and others were trying to get Africa united. So he continued with that, way of sensitization, then come back to the Gambia, and he continued in politics.
Great. Like you said, Khalifa have worked so far in giving back to his country, his continent at large. As an activist, what could this trigger from you? What are we expecting from you? Would you follow the footsteps of Honorable Sedia Jatta?
Definitely. This has motivated me to make sure that I take sleepless nights to continue
the work he is doing. And for sure, we are still learning from him. And he knows that we are working on the same line and we have to continue. We may not be like him, but then we try to do our quota in this.
Thank you.
We organize this, even though there were so many opinions of trying to change the welcome to make it, a bigger one later, to just get him here this time, but then it turned to be a bigger one, and that was our intention. So obviously, we call it the first phase and the last phase so far for Honorable Jatta success to be known to the whole world. Thank you.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Korang, how are you?
Thank you. I'm fine.
Great. We all know what's currently happening here, what's about to happen here, but could you just, elaborate on it? What brought you here?
Yeah, we are here today to welcome our honorable statesman, Sedia Jatta, for the award that is given to him in the Ohio State University, and as a champion of African peace in Africa, promoting African culture. And exactly everybody who knows Sedia knows that he stands for the integrity of the African culture. He stands for languages. He's a man of languages. He's a linguist, and he did not just study linguistics, but he's been bent on promoting the use of the culture, the use of the language in order to promote development in Africa. Yeah.
That's very important, and for one to endeavor in such journey, you need to be committed, you need to be dedicated, you need to be consistent. What do you make of Sedia's this prestigious achievement or award?
I think if there is a second name to Sedia, it will be consistency. For the past 39 years, he's been with the PDOIS since when we were young. And we hear him and Khalifa and Samsar and all the other pioneers speaking the same language from 1985 or so up to now. So he's a man of integrity and a man of consistency.
He is indeed a fountain of knowledge as well. Upon arriving at the Banjul International Airport, because we know this, of course, it's a national event, moreover, because winning such awards comes with a lot of hard work, dedication, and all that. Yeah. How did you see the turnout of the Gambian people to, of course, welcome, Honorable Sedia Jatta?
Yeah, I think it's very commendable, despite the fact that it's Ramadan. You see all the people around, and it tells you not just about the award, but about the man. I had an opportunity to share a few time with him, special moments with him during the 2021 presidential campaign. I shared the same room with him sometimes, and you could see, he is somebody, despite his age, you can see that he is even prepared to if for example I get to I always share the room with him, and one day I went to the bed, I came to the room before him, and I slept on the bed, and then when he came in late in the night, he didn't wake me up. He just decided to sleep on the floor. Usually I would be the one to leave the floor for him, but on that night, maybe he left, he found me sleeping and didn't join me on the bed. He went and slept on the floor. It's the simplicity of the man, speaks volumes.
Very humble.
Yeah, very humble.
Good. Like you said, over 39 good years, the man has been consistent. And then being consistent in Gambian politics is something very questionable in this political environment. Sedia, Khalifa, and Doi as a party, over the years they have been consistent, fine. But recently we've been seeing the flip-flop of politicians. That sends a huge message. As a politician, and of course a Gambian, what do you learn from Khalifa's and Sedia's commitment and consistency in politics?
Yeah, I think, politics is like that. People can differ in terms of philosophy, in terms of ideology. You can differ with the PDOIs in terms of ideology. But apart from ideology, politics is also a game of personalities. And one of the key things that you are interested in the personality of a politician, if you think I'm following a politician, it is worthy following a politician that is consistent in what they do. whose life and message are consistent and they go in tandem. Yeah, you are right. In the Gambia, we have seen it. People flip-flopping, politicians moving from one political party to another without any principles, just for the sake of personal gain. But I think people like Sedia, people like Khalifa, who all their life, have sacrificed. Sedia is a very educated man. He could have worked in any institution. Likewise, Samsar and Khalifa. So, the fact that they have sacrificed, for so long, and consistent in their message. I think consistency, particularly for the young people of this country and going to the future in the Gambia, I think it is very important for us to pay attention to those politicians whose message remains consistent.
That's very important. I mean, until now, 1 year, 7 months or so, we'll be going back to the presidential elections. How do you see DOI as a party? What are we expecting from you?
Yeah, I think the political landscape, that's the big question. That's the million-dollar question at the moment. And I think the answer is very simple. All what Gambians are asking for is change. Because we see when the elections happen in Senegal, people said they want change, right? And they have seen the change, how it happened in Senegal, and they want a similar change in the Gambia. So they are waiting for change. Now, the question is, look around the political landscape and then see which party can give you the change that we need. We've seen the others, and they are basically almost the same as what the party in power is, the NPP. And if your political party's philosophy is just the same as the NPP, then you're not going to bring change into this country. And that is not the case for the PDOIS. I think it's a completely different philosophy, the empowerment of the masses to put the productive resources in the hands of the people. It's what they're preaching in Senegal at the moment as we are talking right now. Transparency, is a key factor. The fact that a society cannot function very well. We see Senegal now, yesterday the president talking about protection of whistleblowers. That means people in government who point out, right? So people have to see, do you think your party, do you think the party that you are promoting or you want to see, you want in power, do you think they will promote transparency? See how they are operating and see whether they are indeed actually interested in transparency. Because no changes will happen. It will only be a matter of change of regime rather than change of system if we don't think in terms of consistency, transparency, right, and having the interest of the country at heart and a different model or philosophy that will bring development. Yeah,
that's very right. But then, like I said, recently again, we've seen, indecent politics in the Gambian political atmosphere, where our politicians or their supporters who actually go and attack each other, which didn't actually make any sense at some point. I think we need to debate on policies, ideas and agendas. But what do you make of that type of politics in the Gambia?
Yeah, I think that type of politics is very backward. Politics based on insult cannot have anything meaningful. So, this is another way in which we must consistently look at politicians. If there is a political party, right, or parties whose members engage in castigating, right, in insulting, right, and maybe making other people look ugly, I don't think that political party can take this country to the next step. So it is important for people to focus on the message and to ignore, because the Gambia is a melting pot, different cultures, different tribes, and you can never separate us, right? So it is important for us to know that patience, respect for the other people's rights is very important in politics. And those political parties, it is not just enough for politicians to say, oh, it's my supporters that are insulting people. I think that's no excuse. If your supporters are insulting people and you don't do anything about it, then maybe you are telling your supporters behind the scenes something different. You're telling them to do it, and when you come out in public, you deny it. Because if your supporters are very committed, a typical example, no matter what we say in this country, DK Jawara is known for promoting multiculturalism, promoting tolerance. And it narrated that in his organization, which was the PPP, if anybody there that goes on insulting other people, he comes out himself and condemn it. And that is why we saw it. It was a party of a melting pot. And this is what Gambia needs. No party can rule this country if it is built on divisiveness.
You're right. No party can build this country if it is built on divisiveness. My last final question to you, Doctor, will be the issue of FGM. Recently, we've seen, the National Assembly, Mafufoni Councillor, table a bill to repeal, the ban on the FGM. What do you make of that bill?
Well, in America, they used to say, don't tell. Even though I come from a Mandinka culture, right? And I come from Nyamina Kudang. And, we know what happens in culture. But we don't sit in the Bantaba and discuss this. It's a women thing. We leave it to them. However, we saw that as we go, as societies advance, laws must enter into every sphere of our society. So the issue as it is right now, right, is a very, very contentious issue. And I think, yes, it needs to be treated very sensitively as it is. The practice was here, and then when Jame came in, he put in a ban. Yeah, we see people coming up because maybe Jame is not here and then saying, okay, this was forcefully imposed on us and we need to lift the ban. Well, I think no matter what the resolution the society decides to do on it, I think this issue needs to be very addressed. Because, you see, there is one thing which is very important to realize. Even if I agree that, yes, it should go ahead, but how is it going to go ahead? Medical practices and precautions are not being followed. So accidents can happen. People can lose their lives. So are we ready to take that kind of risk? I think most of the people who are saying it should be legalized, they're not prepared to address those type of things. But like I tell you at the beginning, I grew up in this kind of culture, and for all throughout my childhood, this is not an open discussion, and people must be very sensitive to how they discuss it. In the end, I think dialogue can solve it. Yeah,
that's very important.
Yeah.
Do you want it to be repealed, or you want them to leave it as it is?
Yeah, I want them to leave it as it is, because if I lift it, I hear people saying, "Well, if you lift it, how do you guarantee anybody's safety? You cannot guarantee anybody's safety." Now, I want long chosanolom, adolom, okay, doli afo fananko sunolom, ma wo so, barinko meye adoke ika wolio wulunole. Même man adoke fana ika wolio wulunole. Ngo damman ne soto kafo. So say meya ke même maka besi wolio wulunole. So muna musai. It's all
abaraka bake. Thank you. Dalsa fono mole munalla nakanda.
Oh, lakum odi hatanya bake bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Yonse ala tentu imam futa dam. Yenginen kamenna adi yatanya bunya tamma dum kontante la nginen karo. Katun tel bimbe kontano men antel sabundi jang wala mun tel kambia kunna kun doite pati ko tete kambia kunna kun abe nga kontane ko la soto nana mammen soto hanna soto ta man ken tanya man ken jama barbi alay bi ta ken jama no adi ya tanya bunya tam ko kontano wala nati ja wala mun yinti ko na hondere bulo Sedia Jatta aka moli nyafita aka moli nungufita aka moli kumbo dendi aka moli kungumo saka kilondinguli nena aka kilondinguli balundi batigol ka susu wala bantangal ka susu wala fantangal ka susu bi na kayro ko soto honorable Sedia Jatta ma soto kambia kunna kun na president fanga ya soto bi president fanga kontan soto ngim banko ka kambia anana mammen soto o jusula na kontano wala en sabu jang be ala tentula be annabi jayila be duwala fo man sa talla se kayra kota di kambiala même fana warta nginti ndam man tabe fola si doli so si diam ni nginen karo soto nginen ka
me nginen kar dole kala mi nginen kar kilin doron bawo ka ngin awor sifa soto amange kuti mi alan ka fe betal la lar ne ya soto atlo mom mo fla nyonta afrika warta do ya ta kanyin sifa so bira bota Nelson Mandela kibaro le min safi Sedia nata ka nying ko kusi vaso mol bebe jikirin ko Gambia bebe fintla bari bi ta fara nang airport do ye mol la finto ye nyalle fodum mol nyanta finto nyanta tamela nyanta bam fodum mone be kere
ngela ko moy ba ka adi atanyi la ngin karo di atanyi ntanga menje mol la funto ntala fita mol ye funti nyame mol man funti wonya nta adun mol ye nyimuta political quote ya muta Sedia quote bar nyim man quote Gambia ko la mu nyinta bar Gambia ko nte yaji ka Gambia ko yaje nyaado le ma men ni ñak untel be men mirare men ni wota kilin bar nte aje ko honorable Sedia Jatta men ngani ko nat ama ngani fula soto Gambia ay kambiya kunna kun ay abele kanyandi adu alla fitale kambiya dada kambiya ke sanoti kambiya ke luluwoti ala balwo kono ay wole hamme ay wole nati adu wole nato bala adu wole hammo ba abe naturi fo kambiya kayra ko soto ama fo jata kunda ama fo sutu ko ba ama fo sutu kondi ama fo wuli wes ama fo wuli es ako kambiya ay kambiya leje allo ndo babulu hakilo bala asabaro kuntato angani yo bala kayro saba kambiya e kanati wala ya bulangin bedwala ala mon ala kayra ku ko taddaye même fanan teginti kambiyan koli ala man ngam fanje bedwala kambiyan koli ala man tonya sabatin kambiyan koli ala man sidiya ngani yo men soto kambiya ala mon kambiyan koli fangal yo soto ifanye nda haja du suba touré wulli nyakoy soto kondi dabota wulli wes ali konton ala barka ala
barka bake alman la ke bayaji be sun karobe ker nyonyal fanana rajan joska banko nyin a fasa do manding nin kuma bal fanam bulal ci do mandi nyam
alhamdulillah tento be alay jongo si ala taala tento ila balu ko non ni ajen tel ke bal nata ja amam folo bi la comme sidi ala katakuo me wala noma sidi ay kambiya leje ay kambiya dinguli je woto nabe batawo batato abake kan kambiyan kolle amake alfam adam manye amake patio dam manye ntel yaje ko kambiya kola munyinte kambiya be nyanta funtela le kasidi ya bendo kaje ko hero men ngalon ka ya sabana ya nati amanati soto ko na amanati taybatu aya nati kambiyan kolle woto kambiya fonnin ke on na adin nin kebalu ibe nyanta funtela le kasidi ya bendo ntel kenga wala je anyati wala nyanta kela baru nyimbe ko la fana men nga benno men ma benno ay kayro men nat kambiya ala bo kela mbe danila mbe jama be danila du wala fo ala taala manso ay anin sima ya diala anin jata kende anin harje fir anin laban ko nyima wala
ada abi ma famul anin munila nakandar jande
wa alaikum salam alhamdulillah rabbil alamin mbe man so tendula mba jayila ngakule je jambi men nyongne menen ken tetiloto de ma fo kununde barbi nemena nyonje biringa carte fayo dam daja yonna honorable men kita honorable Sedia Jatta ala ya ke wole makama soto kambiya menen men soto aya soto kambiyale doy kuta nyinde kambiya bele tamu kato anata damen jang kayra ko fenfe na nyin jaba anata kambiyale adu ay do ko men ka kambiya janto wala fundita fa fundita bantalal kato Sedia Jatta birin Sedia do ko damta ma fangna fa no kamoli makoy Sedia nyaay mo jabe batari Sedia mo jabe batari Sedia kalwaele dindin keba birin karambunto dindi fokata ta mo men la alfalte keri Sedia lota mo bele ay kelo kele woto kambiya di yame aya kanu wala akeni man so nyin kayro funtindi atola yala saya denden di atala anyanta mo bele kontanela kambiya mo bele tamu nyindi manke politiki kuti kambiya bele tamu nsi duala ma ala yanin sima ya badi ala yake banko e kairati nati ta kairo men man so yo kenye banko alla kila hormoto almani sima di lala
amen itodi ma
alaji mawdo suso jali mawdo suso hade
jali mawdo suso bi ngeje nata banyo international
tonya
munela nakandati jam
menga nata jambi menga nata jambi nata Sedia sana Jatta Afrika la sana Jatta Afrika la Sedia Jatta nata wala bennu bunya fengo me ya akomandi Amerika ya bunya fengo diala je nyimmanke gambe politique kuta nyinde nyimmanga gambe la Afrika bela kontano lo nyinde parce que Afrika niko Afrika doron ye bang Afrika mu me bela kafu nyoma yo nata mole bendu ikafa menye ko tura kilin sansan fa nata mole bendu ikafa menye ko jako salantan nata mole bendu ikafa menye ko kubeje kube long kuma be fo nata wala bendu sana Jatta dimo santan kuma kilin nata wala bendu bi Afrika be tola ndamo alaji mawdo susoladi ndafala wulli ndafala kombo ndafala gambia ndafodoro Afrika be ha
kumayata baba kele njikita ngalon ko nyim mukulti mi gambia be la nyanta ka celebrate good ye molla fintoje na nyalle se wota la bam fahani kabim
ay ngamolla sim fundoje
manda ben da fan bara kata sungaro kono yalo mbiri ay silan folo dibite silan kanye mo konye ko akonye barata le silan kilne so don kay hangay bari sungaro ni ajen garabe sun lelatul kadri mo la nyinin kanje o lelatul kadri ngay ndel ben da wolati imaje bi ala fenda ala bunya ben jin sungaro kono ko tek wota dum momen mo nyanda wala kawla ko koros kalo wo mu jomalat ha mom ama ko yubede ama sur ko waji bed ama ulle jubed ay gam ama gambia jubed ay dunya laje ay dunya laje
lam tonya dina
dunya fana ngaji le ha bi dunya lon memu Sedia Jatta dunya yo lon
abaraka bake dunya le jonal Sedia of course Sedia Jatta minna la awodo ferente anatna alos gambenol be findira ka support of course ka fasaro nyin itandala comme aliaje nyami he is not in the same political party with them, but still they came out to, of course, receive him, to, show solidarity with him. To appreciate the work he has been doing, and of course to actually congratulate him. So mukul to me is very important. Come aliaje nara luto nyami. Just continue watching Gambian Talents TV. Because I nyami di narnan janne airport into. All honorable Sedia Jatta. Then yet another exclusive event for of course Banjul International Airport bi nga xamné Halifa Sedia Jatta nek na khalifa bo xamné mo winone award America University of Ohio bi nga xamné award bu ngo jox nak dal ñuko win bir Africa fi bari wud nonu, so he could be either two or the third persons nga xamné ñoo musona win façon award bi. So for that being the case, tay mo tax nak nit yi génn ci Gambia irrespective of our political affiliations pour ñew support ko comme no len ko gisé fi ci airport bi gis nañ fi some honorable National Assembly members yi nga xamné ñoo nañ ñu of course receive ko fi welcome ko pour won ne ko ne Gambians really celebrate him, Gambians appreciate what he does, Gambian yi den ko buga. So this is a sign of patriotism. This is a sign of patriotism. So I think Gambia, this is a very, very nice moment for every proud Gambian, every patriotic Gambian, as you can see. Yes, as you can see, he's currently coming out of the airport, and of course, the airport building, and then as you can see the banner, or the flyer that shows about Sedia. Excuse me, I've been repeating all like times without number, but this is Sedia Jatta, who's actually doing really a great job. He's been called and chanted as a hero by Gambians and all that. Gambians label him as a hero, and of course he's indeed a hero worth celebrating. So let's wait and see what will unfold here at the Banjul International Airport. Let's see the all people.
Your yes, please. And the Gambia has silence, please.
Yes, your question. Did you ask a question?
Yes, I said welcome back and thank you. We realize that you have been awarded as an African hero.
Well,
what does this mean to you and the Gambia?
Well, I thank you very much for this fantastic welcome. I think the award is not for me alone. My name, it goes with my name, but it's for the Gambia, it's for the continent, because it is African Heroes Award. So it is a continental award. So it is meant for the continent. And it is an award which has energized me. It has made me even more stronger than ever before. It has made me more committed to the work that I have been doing for the continent. And it has even made me younger. I'm more energetic now than ever before. So this should propel all of us towards working for the liberation of the continent once and for all.
Honorable Sedia Jatta, what does it take for one to win such prestigious award at the international front?
We are all actors on the world stage. And there are people who take interest in what we are doing. What you do is of interest to people, and what you do is what determines whether or not you would win it. This was there were many competitors. There were Nigerians. There are over 800 Nigerian students in the university. There are less than 30 Gambian students in the university. Gambia won because of what Gambia has been doing. That's why the numeric, however, the numerical strength of the Nigerian government, they did not win, but this country won. So it means it is given to those whose work has been somewhat bigger to people in the continent. I think that's what is it. What determines is the quality of the work that you are doing and the extent to which your work is.
Thank you very much. Kumata bakali sa kuno ning amani ka ngola for our local mandika speakers they can be able to relate.
Yenyinin kamena wala mo ko muni atunla yenyindinna. Ya di kadi mo lela do ko kadi wala kam. E be kadi la konte mo side kadi la ko yemenke. Yemenke fa mol na fa falma mol yemenke fa Africa na fa ma Africa na fa ay Africa samba nyal fa ma samba nyal. E kadi wala kam. Mo jamale ya nyini bari yaadi men na itali fe wo men ke ka wala warta dol tat so wala mu koti
Kumaita bake nata nang e molbe jang irrespective of our political differences molbe ye bendun jang how do you feel about Gambia
well abetiatal a itandina ko Gambian kol fulal ilaftale membe Gambia na fala membe Africa na fala lafta wol and momo bo koto e bola koto wol so abetiatal men kata na man ketem fala asin jakali kadu ngalon ko menketa amanke ndoltante bankoto yolof amandin tela ko Sedia Munte menketa wala mendita Africa tole babala banku tota bala e ko Africa Hero of the Year so it is do ko menketa pour banko na Africa na fakam wala na dita wala kam inshallah
be sewole andon nyonta yalo nin ko mo fa tari ko fana Gambia la history nyin ko bawo nyata je wat la folo mo Gambian folo de mialan ka fako he won such award I mean kabondi no bantala bago andon amina de gena muna la kumaya fa wala mo nyinte ko award o nyin ay Africa bele represent bawo ko African Hero of the Year so Africa warta la manke Gambia da mari so mo ko de mialan ka fako every Gambian should be really proud of it. You know, so wasabu kamala drong anyina moto de nyandaga abula mingono ka excode mi ala ka fako mitala fo doela wala suwa kono wala ninkum doela biro de mimita ko George Town olam tonyati hena akataning that aside just to enter inside the car and of course olam tonyati and then until then keep watching as we bring you everything you need to know as far as this coverage is concerned.
Alaikum wa rahmatullah. Nyanta for alhamdulillah na Alpha Ba our very own honorable Tata Kairala Nata Kairala
atata muna la America molbe ya long dunia be ya long ya bunya bake ya award yala award most of the national in dunia kono follow killing mom Nelson Mandela first one follow ya di Nelson Mandela woto atala mahamo nte ka fole ane Nelson Mandela kanyanta wa alhamdulillah sunkaro drone nim wala na kol mang mamam bak ka natar sunkaro no jambe dula bak bari sunkaro ko ka bunya wala na mang ma kidimandi bak alhamdulillah mul nata mbal be barakala na honorable batarin bakale ka tun tengalon ka travel ko America ka jika sele jili sele pleno ko sinya saba a jamfata bakale maybe almost I can follow up to 16 hours montoro wato tang aning woro abe sitting airport ko no pleno ko be jilana wo batale so ñinte jamfala malbe Daniela ko nse yamfaye paseta suokono ase fonyonde nde namani ko bla moldo bota dula jang ngal long ngal bunya bak ñinem doyt nkanyo fasal nkanyo makole alhamdulillah so bari ñinem face wanti ni ñi bota je mba ko jura la koteke an wo a Kenya ani ñi make clint wo abe kala ka dunia be hani ka government invite ka to government nyanta ila bulod ndañu kon because ñi yadi la Gambia's flag now it's recognized all over the world ka to mi ya long ni ona ka di mulla fo mo yakis jamane ñinti hani president Biden aba fala jamane ñinti hani Ukraine Saudi Arabia African president they say who is this man inte surprised pour ka for sign he'll be a traveling ambassador you'll be seeking for him much more than what he has done right now well alhamdulillah so amanke momote for doy so doy do ni suto wallahi mo dole banko kan bari tambite wol bela mo dole Africa kono i tambite wol bela amanke ate manke kabre mo ton tomonna mol beli bi Nigeria minu be tomondiro Nigeria siata je minu be tomondiro la bari yewol be bulaji be ko Sedia o mu fembalete wa fembalete li ma doon wax rek ci la ko ci olof ne kontaan nañ bu baaxa baax ne suñ honorable bi dem na alhamdulillah ñibisina jàmm alhamdulillah liñ ko jox America ñi ko ci anglais award ñu ngi ko di 2024 African Hero Award so liñ ko jox ni ñetti nit rek moom ñetteel bi leen ko jox ci àdduna si waaw kii ko njëkkaa jox Nelson Mandela kon nag moom maxaamaam dañ ko war a emal ak Nelson Mandela waaw te inshallah na ko ëppa sax na ko ëppa te moom bente xale la man ma ko gisee xale la de màgget tudde because ni moo doxee ni moo waaxoo ak ni moo xelaatee màgget du xelaatee noonu kon nag dañ ko ñaanal yàlla yokk fanam mu toog ba setatam yi di ko indi ndogo bee rek kon ak wér gu yaram ndax mu liggéey ni moo liggéey mu continuer te wax na ko mu ne na continuer daf ko dolli sax mu gën a continuer li moo def wax na ko si airport bi te ñun xam nañ ne moom du nit di waxantu
Hello, barakatu. Ngamo be kontong. I say good evening to everybody. Ramadan Mubarak, Laylatul Qadr Mubarak. Diamo manyala jamfala bao sunkarole be caring. Alhamdulillah, nyimu kulati me alonko bi ajareta celebrate lale. Dafa nekk bes bo xamne jarna mo celebrate parce que Sedia Jatta Gambia bele along andung mol be alon ne bari ndelafta kumandim fola kabri ngani award je ayen kontan bakele anu mandeno nga fo pour mol be amoy I said something for everybody to hear ngo 2021 campaign niko a hero if you say a hero
of course, it's not just somebody, Mayalonko, he went and did that, no. But also, Anyanta Kela Moleti, Mayalonko, Alhamdulillah, I fanji, ni mol tembeta, ama fan selendi moti fanang. Wole mu moti Mayalonko, isafaye ko hero lam. Ndenga a witness le 2021 presidential campaign. Kabirimbe tola, ngamen fo kabringa award ni yenko amon surprise. Katu ning molie kanna fayima kabiring America fo jang isalonko amanke ko itele londo soto dunia beti amanke ko fanan ko itele la naflo eti wante doku menke monene mak bari kule betarle bala me yalonko ay nyafa sile andum moma nyafa si mentambita mome ya fan jindi aning ay mol hati ko 2021 presidential campaign dolebe nun wato dol ka fonye ko inin konku Sedia tay bunkiling ba nka jibelo ko coming mfamalo nka fay onkulite la jang dek me bin tenganda siran kon ba lunkiling ndata atondi fan kiang ke moto ndo le folo futata nata be bataring kuma tangalla sedo bijande ngalla la rankan so monda kabringa nyaayele nata nga onkul tar Sedia tar siring salo kono abe larim basoka kabringa awoje wole folo blatan hakilo kono ko mome yalonko aya fanji ay mam afan fisandi moti wo dunia kono ye any award yala aya deserve le so wafi bari what sorry lila ampurwa nuyu na len jerejef ala baraka
video is assalamu alaikum Gambia mbal be kondona me wato men kon la be songaral kono kolbe continue na fana dole sonto sa nyanda ke fonyo la fana dol bi je sa hanne may situ
yoddu sa xat te quality Jasna ñoo yor seen cumbukaay tur day uyu borom Jasna pire soo ko bëggee fii si biir Gambia bi dawal foofu sa quality Jasna your number one stop shop ana sama jigéen ñi dama bëgg ngeen jox ma seen nopp garmi yi ndaxte quality Jasna amal nañ leen ay til yu toj daala poos abaaya yu yiiw waaye it amal nañ leen ay boreda yu rafet boreda yoo xam ne pour góor ñi la ak pour jigéen ñi amal nañ leen body scrub yi nga xam ne nii dafay defar seen yaram bam nice waaye it fàttewuñ fa diw yi ana sama jeeg yu pare yi quality Jasna amal nañ leen fa andi cuuraay yu
mfamalo ngafay onkulite la jang ndek mebi tenganda sirankon wa lunkiling ndata atondi fan kiang kemoto ndo le folo futata nata be botaring kumata ngalla nsedo bijande ngalla la rankan so monda kabri nga nyaayele nata nga onkul tar serious tar siring salo kono abe larim basoka kabringa awoje wole folo blatan hakilo kono ko mome yalon ko aya fanji ay mam afan fisandi moti wo dunia kono ye any award yala aya deserve le so wafi bari what sorry lila ampurwa nuyu na len jerejef ala baraka
video is assalamu alaikum Gambia balbe kondona me wato men kon la be sonkaro kono wolbe continue na fana dole sonte say nyanda ke fonyo fana dol bi je sa fanni may situ Sedia Jatta ñi manke Sedia Jatta dama na awot ñi mu Gambia la awot la bota man dan Gambia dama fana na am Africa awot la because ni ajibe mo jamale be sirin Gambia kono jam me yalon ka fako e karantale jida e tambita banko ko ton kan kada karawna wat karaw manke coming ya karang yelondo soto wole mo ila karakter façon jamal soto mena mo karakter foloti hadama do me ya fanji aya fanka nyamol fe men yalon ka fako mol mangi muta fent Sedia Jatta man ko photo follow wala bala ndebe bala jang is 2005 but 2004 to 2005 ote monte mbe sanji tan ani saba mbe bala na wulo kono kana terrain yo mbarama sonto ndene Sedia Jatta le bend ana la moto oto me bira kon campagne kabri nje ako yal moto londo bar dinu na hana lor nyana yelo bok ngason ya moto londo nyale e benate lora ay simo jibe ako dara bolen ko was surtout kon nin banete mala ako ar nyindo dara sam basen deleta man so ngata bani ngata campagne la to la bani so since that travel dan dara nen man nyina la ko kendol and secondly for now Gambia Sedia Jatta buka politiko ke pour tapale yalla wa illa kafe ñine molbul war Sedia Jatta campagne ke pour Gambia ke kilindi so alamu alay kambe on to men Gambia dul damante on assalamu alaykum nak mote kal konto alnal bad ma ibrahima
ka cabinal men manke biti balan sal tentu ale kata kuba men ken koma kata mbendum e jusla kamma bale nyandalo no ko sanga do ko soto amongo ko duniya jiko soto na koto afrika jiko soto na koto nyanta katalango jiko mafa e konka ku kendo kele menga banko na fa menga afrika na fa oto nyi nyanta kala ko teke ngante o city ka jeko be menka nga bambandi nga kafu tumalo bato ngamera ningoke mbe jiko mafa no e nakachate siala bake wande mbal be kontonna ngeen jëf suñu dajale ati waxtaan bi dina gëna yaatu ngeen jëf
congratulations bala joñe
ku yoddu sa xat te quality Jasna ñoo yor seen cumbukaay tur day uyu borom Jasna pire soo ko bëggee fii si biir Gambia bi dawal foofu sa quality Jasna your number one stop shop ana sama jigéen ñi dama bëgg ngeen jox ma seen nopp garmi yi ndaxte quality jasna amal nañ leen ay til yu toj daala pos abaya yu yiiw waaye it amal nañ leen ay boreda yu rafet boreda yoo xam ne pour góor ñi la ak pour jigéen ñi amal nañ leen body scrub yi nga xam ne nii dafay defar seen yaram bam nice waaye it fàttewuñ fa diw yi ana sama jeeg yu pare yi quality jasna amal nañ leen fa andi cuuraay yu neex house spray ak bépp xeetu baax pour seen biir néeg dama ne atum ren jii ku sa jëkkër mere ku ne yow la neex ndaxte quality jasna ñëw na si dëkk bi pour defar sëy yi makeup artist yi bàyyi leen gannaaw ñu ngi leen fa amal ay makeup product yu quality waxu leen léegi nii foofa sa Westfield jàkkaarloog monument bi wala nga jokkoo quality jasna si 250 0124 ak quality jasna taaral sa bopp taaral sa néeg waaye it bëggal sa alaaji aas